the RAM just decides it's going to cripple itself. So that means it's off to the computer shop again tomorrow to try and have them reseat the RAM. So I do apologize. If it does happen one more time, if it does happen one more time, we will call it. We will call it for the night. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope it doesn't. So let me just push all the buttons again, guys. All the buttons. We're recording the webinar to the cloud. Right, so that's happening. That's happening. I've got my chat up. That's happening, and we'll keep tinkering along, guys. We'll keep tinkering along and see how we go. All right, see how we go with this one. So where were we, guys? Where were we? And I do apologize, guys. It's a RAM issue, which is causing a little bit of trouble. Either way, guys, what we want to do with our KPIs, rather than chase profit, guys, we want to basically put a defensive framework in place. What are we protecting against? Guys, we're protecting against a number of really, really key issues. Bottom left-hand corner. So guys, first and foremost, overtrading and impulse entries. So overtrading and impulse entries, particularly impulse entries, probably one of the fastest ways to destroy a trading account. Emotional decision-making, chasing missed moves, inconsistent execution, and trading without clear purpose. Now, guys, trading without clear purpose brings up my conversation with the young gentleman, guys, earlier this week, where I said, if you had a purpose, if you had structure around what you were doing, which is if you had structure around buying an investment property at the end of this year, would that give you enough motivation to be disciplined? The answer was, well, of course it would. That'd be fantastic. Right, so what we've got to do to be really, really good in the game of trading is we've got to give our KPIs meaning, guys. The KPIs actually got to mean something to us. If it means something to us, we are highly likely to be very, very good at jumping on that KPI. So further, guys, further as we develop it, what are we going to learn tonight? Guys, we're going to target all of these points here. Guys, we're going to target all these points. Most importantly, guys, who are the webinar for? So the webinar is ultimately for traders who feel they trade too often or they trade too emotionally, guys, too emotionally. We want traders that are struggling with FOMO or inconsistency, beginner traders learning to trade properly, developing traders seeking structure and accountability. Guys, are finally experienced traders refining psychology and process. Now, that being said, that list, guys, may I suggest, would cater for almost everybody in the webinar and also anybody that's going to be watching anybody who's going to be watching the recording. Now, as we build on this, guys and girls, probably one of the most important questions about KPI is, why are you actually trading? Guys, now, whenever I coach anybody, even if I'm coaching them privately, as the first question I will say when somebody says, Lockie, can I have some coaching? The first question I'll ask is, why are you actually trading? Like, what is the reason you're here? Why are you showing up? Now, guys, the best traders that I've ever worked with have a very, very clear defined purpose as to why they're doing what they're doing. So super well-defined purpose. As the people that are normally a little bit clumsy, normally either changing trading plans, switching markets, switching this, switching that, but generally speaking, they either don't have a why, so they don't have a reason why they're trading, or they don't have a calculated KPI to achieve that why. So this is why we're going to be doing what we're doing tonight. So guys, reverse engineering, basically what we're doing with reverse engineering a KPI, and we use an Excel spreadsheet, guys, to do this. What we're doing with reverse engineering our KPI is we're basically saying, this is my KPI, or this is my reason I'm going to be trading. Let's say I would like to buy an investment property at the end of this year. Then we go and basically work out exactly how much that's going to cost. We then give your KPI meaning. We actually give you a reason to actually be here, disciplined, patient, logging into the live trading room, effectively doing what we're guiding you to do. Now, with that said, guys, I wanted to start with a very, very generalist example and then build to something a little bit more complex. So, guys, I built an example here where you've got $500,000 owing on a particular mortgage. Guys, you want to retire in 3 years from now with no mortgage and a big cash reserve. Guys, so some of you might in the webinar might be in this boat. So you've got a $500,000 mortgage, or you want to retire in 3 years with no mortgage and a cash reserve. Guys, you would like to generate around about $150,000 per year. You'd like to work around about 3 hours per day maximum, and you would then like to basically help others do the same in a mentorship role. Guys, now the reason I mention mentorship role is that generally speaking, as when you start coaching people in the art of trading, not only does it force you to be very, very disciplined and very patient, Guys, but you also realize that almost every other person in the world is on exactly the same journey you are. If you can help them master this beautiful thing called trading, guys, you can actually coach them and mentor them to do the same thing. And as a result, everybody ultimately ends up winning. Most important thing on this slide, guys, where do most people get derailed? They either don't have a why or they've never reverse engineered their why. So they don't actually know what it means to have a daily KPI, for example, on the NASDAQ of, let's say, only 20 ticks or 40 ticks or 60 ticks. So guys, what I want to do also is focus on this thing called unrealistic goals. And the reason I focus on unrealistic goals, if somebody comes to me and says, Lockie, I want to retire in a year's time and I want to make 1,000 ticks per day on the NASDAQ, I would say to them, nah, I think your goal is a little bit unrealistic. If somebody comes to me and says, Lockie, I want to retire in a year's time, my goal is around 40 to 50 ticks per day on the NASDAQ, as not only is that a very, very realistic goal, it's very, very attainable. And as a result, you can build a great trading psychology around it. Guys, so as per the pyramid that we were looking at before, every time we talk about KPIs, what we're actually doing is we're fueling the development of a great trading psychology. And we're doing that with the intent of being very, very good at the game of trading. So a couple of KPIs for you to think about, guys. The numbers actually become quite good fun quite quickly. So for the FDAX traders, guys, in 2026, guys, if you are able to do 5 points a day, 4 days a week only. Now, the reason I do KPIs, guys, based on 4 days a week only, most of you will probably be very effective at 5 days a week. So what I'm saying is let's be very, very pessimistic about our forecast already. So if you start on the FDAX 5 points per day, 4 days per week, you start on one contract only, and every time you earn $8,000, you step up another contract. You go all the way up to 10 contracts. Guys, your net result will be 100,000 US dollars profit. So 100,000 US dollars profit for 2026. All right, so that plan, guys, if that's a KPI plan, that would be 5 points a day, 4 days a week. Lockie, what I'm going to do is I've got an $8,000 step up point. So I'm basically going for 5 points a day, 4 days a week. And I know as my net result at the end of this year is 100,000 US dollars. That's 100,000 US dollars. What does that ultimately mean? It's well over, as 100,000 US is probably pretty close to 150 Aussie. Let me just double check that. Let me just double check, because most people say to me, Lockie, if I can earn 100,000, if I can earn 150,000 Aussie dollars, I'd be pretty happy. So 100,000 US dollars in AUD. As I work out what it is very, very quickly in the background, it's 149,210 Aussie. So call that 150 grand. So if anybody in the webinar today, guys, particularly if you're in Australia, guys, and you're saying, Lockie, I want to earn $150,000 a year as a professional trader, guys, your goal is to average 5 days, 5 points per day, 5 points per day, 4 days per week only. All right, so very, very, very simple. Guys, I'll show you an FDAX chart in a second. We'll look at the signals we took today and ask the question, could you have actually achieved that? As the reason being is if you're going to have a great KPI, I guess if you're going to have a great KPI, you've got to be able to reverse engineer that KPI. It's got to be realistic. Right now, for the FDAX traders, as if you were to simply change that above plan, the only change being, Lockie, instead of going for 5 points a day, I'm going to go for 10 points a day. As the difference being your net result is 370,000 US dollars, which is well over $500,000 Aussie dollars. Now, that there, guys and girls, if you go to Instagram and have a look at the videos I'm putting up, guys, that is my personal goal right in front of you there, guys, which is 10 points per day, 4 days per week only, starting on one contract, stepping up every 8 grand. The key is though, guys and girls, I'm going beyond the maximum contract of 10, as the reason being I'm copy trading into multiple accounts. So guys, so this is where the copy trading and funding can become really, really good fun. Whereas guys, it doesn't take long. Let's say you're trading five accounts simultaneously, 2 contracts only. You're already trading 10 contracts, which is the maximum that I've actually allowed you to do. But if you go up a couple of contracts on each of those copy trading accounts, guys, your figures will be significantly greater than this. Mind you, 370,000 US dollars profit for the year. As I do believe that's a really, really lovely amount of money. As that's a lovely amount of money. Now, for the S&P traders, guys, for the S&P traders, all right, your KPI ideas are very, very simple. Guys, 2026, if you're going to go for 8 ticks a day, guys, you can read right across that line there. So 8 ticks a day on the S&P, guys, you're looking at about an $83,000 income for the year. So 83,000 US. Guys, if you do 16 ticks per day, 4 days per week, goes slightly bigger result. Guys, have a look at the difference in the income. So if you're looking at the top KPIs, you'd be saying, righto, Lockie, so the top KPIs for a junior trader, the slightly lower KPIs for a slightly more senior trader. The only difference, guys, between a junior trader and a senior trader is the junior trader tends to hold on to their trade for less time. That's the only difference between them. Now, the NASDAQ traders, all right, let me do your NASDAQ, and then I'll show you where all these figures are coming from. All right, so for NASDAQ, as your goal would initially be to do 20 ticks a day, 4 days a week only, starting on one contract, stepping up every $3,000. Guys, your net result for 20 ticks a day only is 198,000 US dollars. So that's basically saying, Lockie, I'm starting with a funded account. Every time I add $3,000 to that funded account, or you're starting with a private account, makes no difference. Every time I add $3,000 to that account, I'm actually going to step up a contract. Now, guys, the net result on the NASDAQ there is absolutely enormous. It's absolutely enormous. Now, where do all these figures come from? Guys, where do all the figures come from? All right, so in the Samurai members area, you guys are no doubt aware of this forecasting spreadsheet. Right, so the NASDAQ figures that I just spoke of, where did that come from? Guys, basically, I put in the US dollar value. So the US dollar value is of the NASDAQ. I'm saying that I'm only trading 4 days a week, not 5. So I'm only trading 4 days a week, not 5. I would like to, literally, can I be bothered trading 20 ticks per day? I'm excited about trading 40 ticks per day. Wow, I'm really killing it. 60 ticks a day. Now, guys, there's a reflection. How many trades did we get on the NASDAQ today, which went way beyond a 50 tick target? Guys, if you have a look at what we did today, guys, there's 3 trades that went way beyond a 50 tick target, 2 trades that went around about the 20 tick mark, guys, and 1 trade that's gone hundreds of ticks, which is what I'm about to show you. Guys, all I then do is say, Lockie, my starting value is going to be $3,000. My contract step up is $3,000. If you want to be a bit more conservative, guys, you can make your contract step up 4,000 or 5,000, or you can start with a bigger trading account, guys. If you want, you could start with a $5,000 account. Either way, guys, what we end up with, we can muck around with risk and all of this kind of stuff down the bottom. What we end up, though, is a calendar year projection, right? So this is what it looks like. Guys, and this is what I'm saying to the boys and girls out there that say to me, Lockie, I would love to buy an investment property. How do I do that? It's simply like, well, what you need to do is you need to probably stick around about this green curve here. So the green curve basically says, I'm a NASDAQ trader, and I'm going to aim to make around 40 ticks per day. So 40 ticks per day, 4 days a week only. So 40 ticks per day, 4 days a week only, and I'm going to work my way up to 20 contracts. Now, some of you might go, well, lock 20 contracts, that's a bit extreme. Well, we can say, all right, well, if your 20 contracts is a bit extreme, the net result, guys, $536,000, right? That's US, 536,000. If that's a bit extreme, you'd literally come back and say, Lockie, I don't like 20 contracts. I'm going to limit myself to 10 contracts. Guys, so that might be either 10 contracts on one account or 2 contracts on 5 copy accounts. Either way, it's exactly the same mathematics. We go back to our calendar year projection again, and then we ask the question, am I happy with that performance? Well, if you limit yourself to 10 contracts, guys, the blue line down the bottom here is 20 ticks a day only. So 20 ticks a day, 12 days, 20 ticks a day, 4 days a week. Guys, you've ended up with 125,000 US dollars. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. If you can do 40 ticks a day, guys, you're sitting at 295,000 US. Now that's where most people in Australia, guys, most people in Australia could afford to buy a really, really cool investment property. So for the young guys, no names today because we're going out all over the internet. For the young guys that reached out to me earlier in the week and said, hey, let's call him Brett. Guys, we're going to call him Brett. So I've got someone to address. But if you were a Brett and you're saying, Lockie, I would love to either buy an investment property at the end of this year, or man, my life would look very, very different if I could just earn 295,000 US dollars, or my life would look better, guys, if I was earning 125,000 US. Guys, immediately using this, you know that if we come back here, you know, all right, Lockie, so for me to achieve over 100,000 US this year, I'm going for 20 ticks a day only on the NASDAQ, and I'm only doing it 4 days a week. Now, can everybody sort of get an idea of how structured this is and how deliberate it is? So not only is it very, very structured, it's very, very deliberate for a very, very important reason. Guys, when somebody realizes that they can earn over $100,000 this year if they only go for 20 ticks, they only go for 20 ticks on the NASDAQ, what it means is most people's financial goals become very, very achievable. But not only do they become achievable, they're actually realistic. So they're realistic, they're achievable, they're attainable. And basically what it means is a lot of people would say, wow, hang on a second, 20 ticks a day at the moment, Lockie, is only $100 US. But if I do really, really well, then it's going to be $200. Then it's going to be $300, $400, $500. Guys, eventually you get to the point where you're targeting $1,000 days. It doesn't take long, guys, for the $1,000 days to add up really quickly. Please remembering that everything we've done here is based on 4 days a week, not 5. Very deliberately. So guys, what does it ultimately mean? If we were to do the FDAX, S&P 500, NASDAQ, guys, we've got a lower KPI of 5 points per day on the FDAX, an upper KPI of 10 points. Now, every single person that took the trades, guys, that I called in the LTR today, I said to them, guys, if you're new to trading, go for 5 points. If you've got a bit of nous about you, go for at least 10. And in fact, young Toby, guys, in particular, went for 15 points on the trade that I called. So Toby went way beyond, guys, way beyond what is required to do more than $300,000 profit this year, if he's happy to work his way up to 10 contracts. Okay. Now for S&P, guys, the numbers are brilliant. For the NASDAQ, guys, the NASDAQ adds up really, really fast if you don't mind stepping up contracts, as we just had a look at. Guys, so what does it ultimately mean? Let me build this slide for you. 1, 2, 3, all the way down to the bottom. So guys, step one, what we want to do, guys, if we want to get really, really good at 2026, step one, you've got to know what your KPI is. All right, so that means we've got to clearly define the single performance metric that matters most to your objective. So every decision and every action is measured against meaningful progress rather than noise. Okay, so again, you might walk away from the webinar tonight saying, all right, Lockie, I'm a NASDAQ trader and my goal is to do 20 ticks per day, 4 days per week. Okay, so only 20 ticks a day, 4 days a week for the next 4 weeks. Then I'm going to step up to 40 ticks a day for the next 4 weeks. Then I'm going to step up to 60 ticks a day for the next 4 weeks. And you're just going to do that, guys, every single day for the rest of this trading year and then see where you end up. Guys, you'll probably end up very, very, very happy with where you're at. So step one, guys, know your KPI. Step two is acknowledge the KPI applies to you. Now, I know this seems like a pretty simple point, but it's hugely important. A lot of people come to a webinar like this and say, okay, Lockie, yeah, I know 20 ticks a day on the NASDAQ earns me more than 100,000 US dollars, but I'm going to go for 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 ticks per day. So guys, step one is to know that the KPI exists. Step two is to accept that it actually applies to you. You'd be amazed at the number of people, as I say, out there in the world of trading, what is your daily KPI? And they will say, make money. I was like, well, what does that look like over the next 12 months? I've got no idea. Well, that would probably explain why you have no direction with your trading. Because the moment we have a KPI, we're building the foundation for confidence in what we do and a positive psychology around trading. Guys, then the rest just falls into place. Step three, select the strategy, market, and time slot, guys, that accommodates your KPI. So what that means is your 20-tick KPI on the NASDAQ, on the European Open, is that a valid KPI for that session, guys? Or obviously the equivalent on the other markets? The answer is absolutely yes. Step number four, do your best every day to exceed your KPI, noting that the KPIs we've done today are based on 4 days a week, not 5. What does it mean, guys? You would basically say, Lockie, my goal is 20 ticks a day, 4 days a week. It applies to me because 125,000 US dollars is going to help me buy an investment property at the end of this year. Absolute great. So now all I've got to do is wait for a valid trade, understanding this is a 12-month journey, understanding that if I take a valid trade over and over and over again, particularly if you enter statically, guys, wait for the candle to close and then enter the trade. If I do that on a very, very regular basis for this year, it's worth between 100 and 300, 400, even $500,000 this year based on the KPIs I just put on your screen. Guys, now that spreadsheet, guys, it is available in the members area for the Samurai members, guys, if you want to actually go and play with the spreadsheet and work out what your KPIs are and similar. So guys, the five steps to basically getting there, guys, identify the 101 signal that you're going to be trading. Guys, now you can find that on a larger chart or you can find it on the 5-minute chart. Guys, then you want to allow the 5-minute chart to define your profit target and also your risk parameters. I'm going to show you on a chart, guys, how to do that really, really soon. Guys, after entering the trade, please apply the rule of 3. So basically, you're going to go for the biggest target you possibly can. Guys, expecting the market will typically take around 15 minutes to show you what it's thinking on a 5-minute chart. Right? So don't forget that rule of 3. Point number 5, guys, what we're doing ultimately, the waiting period, so the rule of 3, we are going to ideally go for an early first target and a very, very long range second target like we were doing today, guys, like we were doing today in the live trading room. When you're first starting there, guys, 2 contracts, a little bit difficult to manage. So you could always go for NASDAQ 20 ticks, S&P 8 ticks, FTAX 5 points. So go for those lower KPI targets, guys, until you're really, really confident with what you're doing. And then you can split a contract, go for a short range target and a medium range target, start to build up that average daily performance. So guys, for the FTAX traders, all you're looking to do is get up around about 10 points a day. For the NASDAQ, you get anything like 40 ticks a day, as you're going to be absolutely flying by the end of this year. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give everybody in the webinar, guys, a reason to behave, a reason to say, you know what, Lockie, I'm sticking at this for 12 months, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to acknowledge how powerful 20 and 40 ticks a day is on the NASDAQ, and then I'm going to go and grab the strategy that achieves that. Guys, I guarantee to you, the strategy that will produce that goal is a static strategy. I almost guarantee it. So guys, what we want is a really, really structured approach. The reason we ultimately want to do it, guys, is again, we're looking for larger chart moves. We're looking for smaller chart trades. I've been doing this since 2009, guys, and the most important thing that I've noticed since 2009 is the market consistently delivers really, really good trades if you are patient enough to wait for them. And my gosh, was the FTAX a great example of that tonight, guys. There is no question at all. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go into the live charts. I'm going to go into the live charts and we're going to pull apart the NASDAQ first because it's a very, very popular market to trade. So let me just push that button. I'll get rid of that. Now, guys, I've gone to a single chart. I've gone to a single chart workspace. The reason being is that NinjaTrader was putting an enormous amount of strain on my computer. So what I'm going to do, in a perfect world, I'm going to connect my data feed. Guys, I'm going to connect my data feed. We'll switch to the NASDAQ. We'll do the NASDAQ first. Guys, then we'll switch to the FTAX and do the FTAX. And we're going to remember those KPIs. Guys, we're going to remember the KPIs we were talking about before. So for the Nazi traders, we'll do a 20 tick box, guys, and then we'll go across to the FTAX and we'll have a look at, guys, we'll have a look at what was going on in the markets today. Now, this is our little NASDAQ. So I've lost all of, so I do apologize. I've lost all of the markings, guys, all of the markings on my charts from when we were trading in the live trading room because that workspace has decided to shut itself down. But that's okay, guys. We can still have a ball with this one. All right. So first things first, I'll just check these. Yeah, I'm just changing to a 10 tick horizontal. I've changed to a 10 tick horizontal. Then I'm going to switch across to the NASDAQ. Okay. So again, best way to do that, push NQ and do that, guys, and it will run across to the NASDAQ for me. All right, so there's that little NASDAQ. Okay, absolutely perfect. Good. All right, so we've got some momentum back again, guys. We've got some momentum back again, which is good fun. All right, so first and foremost, guys, in the live trading room today, guys, we focused on this little static bar reversal. All right, so we're focused on that little static bar reversal short, just there. Also, a number of people actually traded, guys, that little red diamond delta short that's hiding in there. We picked on that one, this efficient candle here. Guys, let me do an arrow. We picked on that efficient candle there. Now, there's one thing that all of these candles have in common. We picked on that one there, and we also picked on that cluster of black diamond deltas just here. Right, so literally that. Now, for the Nazi traders, guys, if you said, Lockie, I want the lower KPI of 20 ticks per day, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to draw on a 20 tick box for you, just two little horizontals there. We're going to go to the first signal that was called in the LTR. Right? The first signal, which was this little short here, unless you picked up this delta long. Right? So now I remember the charts. We said to everybody, guys, wait for the opening candle of Europe to sell down, which is that one right there. And then if they wrap around and buy the market, you can grab that delta, guys, and send it up the other way. Why is this important, guys? So this little box here is 20 ticks only. So that is your lower KPI. Oops, that's a triangle. Hold on one sec. That's your 100 or so thousand, guys, your 100 or so thousand KPI. The next block I'm drawing is a 40 tick target. What does it ultimately mean? As if you took the delta, as if you trade the delta, that delta little V2, is everybody happy that it's gone more than 20 ticks? If you come down here and say, right, Lockie, my KPI is 40 ticks per day because I want to earn a lot more money, is everybody happy the market's gone more than 40 ticks? Now, this static bar reversal that we called in the LTR, guys, I even made a point of, check it out, guys, this one has got a rating of minus 465. What that means is the buyers were very, very strong on this candle. They were 465 times weaker on that candle there. What does that ultimately mean, guys? What does it ultimately mean? If the buyers are failing, we want to join the sellers. Even if I say, Lockie, here is my 40 tick box, I want to send it back the other way. Is everybody happy that the sellers have gone way beyond 40 ticks? Way beyond 40 ticks. Everyone's probably pretty happy with that. Okay, so what we've got is we've got a 40 tick trade on the way up. We've got a 40 tick trade on the way down. So if your goal, guys, as per our PowerPoint, let me bring it back up for you. As per our PowerPoint, if your goal's, Lockie, I'm a NASDAQ trader. I want to make 20 ticks a day, 4 days a week because I want to earn 198,000 US dollars. 198,000 US dollars in 2026. That's a 20 tick box. Okay, so we then go to the markets from today and we say, can we get the market, see this little box here? Can we get the market to move that far in our favor? Now you're probably looking at it going, well, hang on a second, Lockie, that's ridiculous. It's like, okay, awesome. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to add what we call an OSR indicator. All right, so let me go into my indicators. I'm going to add an OSR indicator to the screen. Okay, let me, of course, it's going to go off the top of the screen. So hold on one sec. Guys, so I'm going to shrink this down. Please excuse the boat, guys. Please excuse the boat. If you're into boats, guys, you're into boats. That's a Leopard 48, guys. That's a bit of a dream come true. Now, I'm going to I'm going to come in here, guys. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add an OSR. Okay, I'm going to add an OSR for the European Open. Okay, Jacob. So with the OSR, so double click on your OSR. Then what you want to do is click European Open. Okay, click European Open. Now I go for round Fibonacci's, right? So I go for a round Fibonacci. I'll get rid of the fractional just for the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to darken out my colors here, right? So it makes it a little bit easier to see. I'm also going to add a delta V3, guys, which is a really, really powerful little powerful indicator. I'm going to make sure, guys, that's on the European Open as well. All right. Now, when I apply this to the chart, all right, what we're going to actually get, guys, is we're going to get an OSR line, and there's going to be a really, really powerful point. Okay, really powerful lesson for everybody. Can everybody see here, guys? Everybody see here? There's my upper OSR, just there. There's my upper OSR. So again, if you're struggling, Jacob, with the OSR, it might be because you're loading the US Open or the US Close or the Asian Open instead of the European Open. That could be the problem. All right, but so the lesson I want to point out, though, is a really important one. Can everybody see why this candle is so important? Let me tell you why. All right, on the markets today, obviously this chart is running live, so there's absolutely nowhere to hide. Can everybody see that is the first efficient candle? There's your little 2 sitting under the candle. That is the first efficient candle that's closed outside the range of the OSR. All right, now what does that mean? I was in the live trading room today, we had these deltas trigger. Can everybody see these little green threes hiding there? And I said to anyone in the LTR, guys, if you need another trade, I want the NASDAQ traders to go long. You can go for up to 50 ticks on that trade. Guys, up to 50 ticks on the trade. Let me grab your 40 tick KPI box and put it on the first delta. Guys, and what's occurred? You've absolutely hammered your targets. So what does it mean, guys? And again, question for you before we switch to the FDAX. Question for you. If your KPI, guys, if your KPI on the NASDAQ, okay, is worth to you, let's have a look. On the NASDAQ, Lockie, I'd like 20 ticks a day, 4 days per week, and I'm going to work my way up to 20 contracts. I'm going to work my way up to 20 contracts. Guys, $198,000 US this year, if you can go 20s, and obviously a lot more if you can get the market to go 40 ticks in your favor. And yet today on the NASDAQ, we've had a long, we've had a short, we've had longs, and we've had longs. Every single one of them has gone way beyond your 40 tick KPI. Way beyond it. So my question to everybody is a 40 tick per day KPI realistic on the NASDAQ in the European Open based on what you see on that chart? Because the last thing we want to do in the game of trading is set an unrealistic KPI. Like literally, we don't want unrealistic KPIs. Now, guys, it might only be worth on one contract, it's only worth $200 US when you start. But once you work your way up to 10, 15, even 20 contracts, this little box here is 4,000 US. Okay, so does everybody see why? Does everybody see why that we would start with a 20 tick KPI? We just want one of them per day. Then we go to a 40 tick KPI. We only want one of them per day. But eventually, guys, you might go for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these boxes. Guys, what does it ultimately mean? You're going to be 6 times your KPI. It eventually get to the point where you say, Lockie, you know, my goal is 40 ticks per day on the NASDAQ. I've done 150 ticks. I'm finished for the day. I'm done. Like, that's it. Guys, and as you can see, guys, not only is that the chart straight out of the live trading room, but also it's a live chart over here on the left-hand side. Guys, absolutely nowhere to hide. Now, please note, guys, that that's taking advantage of the Delta V2 and V3 indicators. For those that don't know what they are, guys, the Delta, the diamonds, those little diamonds there, that's the Delta V2 indicator. That's basically small to medium institutional orders hitting the market. Guys, the V3, this one here, that one there that moves the market, the ones with a little 3 on it, this one here, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, all of those are institutional level orders, big orders hitting the market. All right, so the indicators are hunting small institutional orders, medium and also large institutional orders hitting the market. Guys, and again, if you had have traded any of those in the European Open, guys, you would have absolutely smashed your targets. Is everyone okay with that? Is everyone okay that I think maybe 20 to 40 ticks a day on the NASDAQ, Lockie, is very, very manageable. Very, very manageable. Okay, probably lots of people nodding go, yep. Yeah, Frank, exactly right. So the black delta, guys, is my V2. The green delta is my V3, but the V3's got a little 3 on it saying that is the V3 delta. Okay. This little cluster, guys, I even said in the live trading room, I love it when these guys cluster together. It means that's where the institutional orders are coming to the market. Guys, and if you needed any proof of that, look at what's happened since we got over the top of the OSR. Really important. And then we got those trades. Look at what the NASDAQ's done. Guys, if that's your daily goal and it's gone that far, can everybody see that your daily goal, even 40 ticks, which is very impressive, is everybody happy that your daily goal, as looking at those charts, your daily goal is not that difficult to achieve? Jacob, when you multiply your accounts, is that normally private or prop? For me, Jacob, it's 100% prop. The reason being is I trade for Samurai as a corporate trader. So Samurai has set up all the accounts and I trade them on behalf of the company. Yeah, so Jacob, my goal was to set up a private hedge fund. And I was told by thousands of people, you can't set up a private hedge fund. So I just went, set up a private hedge fund. But like, you can't do that. So yeah, you can do that. Of course you can. So mate, there's a lot of people out there in the world that will tell you you can't do stuff. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I just go and do it anyway. Do a similar webinar for stop placement and trading stop. Would love to, Kev. That would be a great webinar, guys. So Kevin's basically said, Lockie, can we do a webinar on stop loss placement and trailing stops, mate? I would love to do a webinar on that for you. Very, very easy topic, mate. So guys, NASDAQ, is everybody happy on the NASDAQ that you could have done 20 to 40 ticks today based on either efficient candles, static bar reversals, or deltas? Is everyone happy that we've had a couple of good little trades here? All right, so again, I think we're I think we're pretty happy. Guys, I'll switch to the FDAX. I'll switch to the FDAX. Nice. So we want this one just here. Okay, and first things first, we're going to swap to a 5-point horizontal. All right, going to swap to a 5-point horizontal. Go to properties. Nice, go over here. Push fives, push apply, push OK. All right, now we're at 5-point horizontals. Guys, the reason we're at 5-point horizontals, thank you, mate, Jacob, I appreciate that. The reason that I say 5-point horizontals is that there is a 5-point goal for the FTX traders. So you go, well, Lockie, yeah, it's just a little yellow box. What does it actually mean? Well, for the FTX traders, guys, that's life-changing stuff. Let me show you why. We go back to our slides. For the FTX traders, 5 points a day, 4 days per week only, guys, is worth around about $100,000 per year if you stop at 10 contracts. If you stop at 10. Interesting point, guys. If you say, well, Lockie, I want 10 points per day, does it make a difference to my net result? That is over $500,000 Aussie dollars per year. Guys, this is where I get very excited because that is my personal KPI. Let's boom. I'm happy with $500,000 a year. Wouldn't that be good fun? Because all the people that say trading doesn't work, it's like, yeah, okay, well, trading doesn't work for you, but it works for me because we're structured. Guys, we do the same thing every day. That's all we do. It's very boring. Nice, but again, that little box, if you can get the FDAX to move that far for you, guys, it's worth $100,000 a year. If you can get it to move this far in your favor, it's worth $370,000 per year. Now, the signals we spoke about in the live trading room today, guys, if I grab this little box, we spoke about Toby's reversal just there, and I'm not kidding. Toby's in the webinar with us right now. I said, there's the Toby reversal. I said, you can push it out for around 25 points if you want to. This little box here, guys, that little box is worth 10 points. So I think Toby went for 15. Guys, I think Toby went for 15, which is, mate, it's a fantastic trade. Well done. Guys, the senior traders went for 25. Yeah, Keith, 100%, mate, 100%. So the senior traders, guys, on that trade went for a 25-point target, which is that far. Okay, look what happened. Now we got the static bar reversal down the bottom. As I called this exact trade in the live trading room, that exact trade, and said, if you are a static bar reversal trader, you're allowed to go long. Guys, we then got this candle here. And I said, guys, you can go long again if you want to. You guys might have actually heard me say in the live trading room, this signal here is an ugly Toby. In fact, MJ called it, guys, in the live trading room. Said to everyone in the LTR, you can go long again if you want to. Guys, now the beauty of that, this is 10 points per day. So this box here, you could have gone short for 10 points. You could have gone long for 10 points and long again for 10 points. So you're 3 times your daily KPI just here, guys, just here. Suzanne, that's your trade. Fantastic. Guys, there's also a static bar reversal over here, and we've missed the static bar reversal, but I said to some of the traders, you can grab the delta there if you would like. Guys, that's the delta, and again, it's gone up. So today on the FDAX, we had a long for 10 points. We had a long for 10 points. We had a short for 10 points. We then had a long for 10 points and a long for 10 points. So guys, even if we get rid of that, and we go back to our PowerPoint, which I'm about to do for Keith. Guys, is everybody happy that we could have gone long for 10 points, short for 10 points, long for 10 points, long for 10 points? Now, if your daily KPI is 10 points per day only, on that screen, there's 40 points worth of profit. So that means tonight, guys, even though the FDAX was quite difficult to trade, the reality is there's 4 times your daily KPI on the screen. 4 times your daily KPI. Interesting point. I go back to the PowerPoint again, guys, and I jump on the FDAX figures. Let me just grab that for you. These are my FDAX figures. Guys, if you only get 5 points a day, which is half what every one of those boxes is, guys, you're still going to earn $100,000 this year, which is 149,000 Aussie. Most people are happy with $150,000 pay rise. But if you can just get good, 10 points per day, guys, which I've done every day this week except for yesterday, because I lost the data feed, guys. There was some kind of issue in the background. Every day this week, I've done 10 points. Every day this week, I've done 10 points. And guys, I'm moderating. You guys don't have to moderate, so you get to focus just on your trading. Guys, it's worth $370,000. Now, don't want to be rude, but can anybody see why? Guys, whenever I coach anyone in trading, can everybody see the first thing I ask them is, what is your KPI and how are you going to achieve it? If somebody says, Lockie, I don't know what my KPI is and I don't know what my trading plan is, I say to them, well, you've got very, very limited chance of actually getting this right. But if someone says to me, Lockie, I trade statically, you're exactly right, mate. Keith, you're right. In fact, I'll mention that. That's a great point. So as I personally, Lockie, I trade statically. So I wait for the candle to close and then I make a decision on its personality, because it's a lot easier to do when I'm moderating. Guys, they are the 4 signals we discussed in the live trading room today. And it doesn't matter where you got in on those signals, guys. If you got in exactly where you're meant to, put your stop loss and target where you're meant to, you cannot have lost money on the trades today, guys. Mechanically impossible to lose money. Now, there is one trade, guys, that I didn't call, okay, which in hindsight I should have called. So, on the NASDAQ, we just spoke about the first efficient candle closing above the OSR, So this one here, guys, on FDAX was the first efficient candle closing below the OSR. Now, I didn't call you short because we had Fibonacci's in the way, but what I want to highlight, guys, is here is your 10-point KPI. It goes 1 point underneath that box, and what's actually happened to the trade? It's gone way beyond the profit target. So if I was moderating, guys, an FDAX only trading room, we would have gone short under this candle because it is an efficient candle. So very, very efficient candle. For those that don't know, this little indicator tells you that it's a strong candle. It's a very, very strong candle. Guys, Samurai, we use our own strength and efficiency mathematical calculations. Right? So again, we use a very, very different indicator to some other people out there in the world. This one here is an efficient candle short. Guys, we would have gone short underneath the candle and it would have smashed our target. So what it means, guys, is there are actually 5 absolutely stunning trades on the FDAX today, and everybody went way beyond your daily KPI. And that, Keith, that does bring up a great point. As from February, we're splitting the FDAX and the NASDAQ into their own trading rooms. So guys, at the moment, we've got four charts running in the live trading room. And some people say, hey, Lockie, it's a little bit complex. Guys, from February, we're splitting the LTRs apart so we can focus on you guys hitting your KPI every single day. Now, with that said, we could have hit KPIs, and we did hit KPIs very, very easily today. I was on all of the markets simultaneously. Note how the static entry, guys, the static entry is winning every single 101 signal today. Guys, every single 101 signal and every platinum signal hit its target, which I do find, guys, very, very exciting. So guys, on that note, are there any questions at all about anything that we've done so far tonight? Right, that is the FDAX, guys. Again, my suggestion to the FDAX traders, start with a 5-point KPI, get really, really good at that for maybe 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, and then step up to a 10-point KPI. then get really, really, really good at that. And you might even step up to a 15 or a 20-point KPI. But again, 10 points per day, 10 points per day only, 4 days per week only, will completely change your life as an FDAX trader. And guys, there are 5 valid trades there. I only called 4 of them, but every one of them went to target. And I think that's probably the most important point. So guys, any questions at all? Stop is based, Jacob, yeah, spot on the mark. Stop is based on PVI or the price movement of the market at the time. But so what we do is we always identify where the enemy failed, and then we use that for our stop positioning. If you need me to do a webinar on that, mate, I'll do a webinar on that. Some of these trades, guys, were holding slightly more than 10 points of risk. Like some were holding 15, maybe 16, 17. They're holding a little bit more risk, but we also run at 100% strike rate. So yeah, Jacob, PVI is a good way to do risk. Ultimately, pure price movement will be the best stop loss for you. Right. So if you need me to run a webinar for you on that one, mate, more than happy to do that. Guys, the standout lesson for me today, particularly for the NASDAQ traders, Delta V2, Delta V3, absolutely insane indicators. Guys, on the FDAX here, the static bar reversal indicator, the efficiency indicator, and the delta indicator, they've all produced absolutely stunning trades. This absolutely amazing trade. So guys, if there's no questions at all, I do apologize for the slight interruption we had earlier, but I do hope you've got some value out of the webinar. Guys, the homework I need everybody to do off the back of the webinar tonight is just simply decide, what is my KPI for 2026? Am I going for 20 ticks a day, 40 ticks a day on the NASDAQ? Guys, whatever you're doing, guys, if you've got a reason to show up to trading every day and you've got a really good KPI and a really good why, may I suggest, guys, the discipline and the patience becomes very, very quickly, or that discipline and patience comes quickly when you're sitting down for a real reason. You've reverse engineered your KPIs and you know your KPI is realistic. So that's what I want every one of you to do. That's what I want everybody to do, guys. Sit down tonight, work out your KPI, work out what it means for you to achieve that KPI, guys, then jump into the live trading room tomorrow and we'll go and get your KPI. That sounds really simple. It's literally, guys, it's literally that simple. So guys, have a great night. Hope you're awesome. And I am going to get the RAM fixed on my laptop. I'll see you, Louis, mate. Great to see you. Right, thank you, everybody. And I'll see you in the live trading room tomorrow, ready to rock and roll. Toby, well done today, mate. You did great. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.